Ladies and gentlemen, the Editor-in-Chief, Time Inc., John Huey.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great privilege and pleasure to welcome you to the 11th Global Forum, the focus of which this year is the new global opportunity. Before introducing our very special opening speaker today, I would like to take a few moments to put this event in context. Until now, it has been known as the Fortune Global Forum because Fortune has been the sole convener of these international gatherings, but this year is different. For the first time, Fortune is joined by both Time Magazine and CNN as co-hosts, providing an unrivaled global news triumvirate in terms of both audience and influence worldwide. And this forum is historic for other even more compelling and obvious reasons. Most importantly, it is the first global forum to be held on the continent of Africa. And to state the obvious, it is also being conducted right in the middle of what many would call the most important event in the world. Certainly the biggest and most exciting, the World Cup. Congratulations once again to South Africa. And to help us connect to that event, we're also pleased to have our fourth media partner from Time Warner, Sports Illustrated, which is America's most prestigious sports publication, here with us at this forum. As we focus on emerging markets and opportunities this weekend, we'll give special attention to understanding Africa and the 900 million people who live here in a global context. And what more appropriate gathering place for this exploration than South Africa? Less than 20 years ago, when Nelson Mandela greeted the world from City Hall, just a short walk from here, the world hoped that South Africa would overcome its history of political strife and oppression peacefully. Today, when we talk about the new global opportunity, South Africa immediately comes to mind. Whatever its real problems are, the nation has come so far. It's a stable democracy and a regional economic powerhouse. This fantastic World Cup event is testament enough to how far it has come on the world stage. But now, as the global recession and the financial crisis begin to give way, we hope, to a more optimistic era, we're all here because we are acutely interested in how to understand, partner with, and tap into the promise of the global South. Just as the World Cup has attracted elite athletes from all over the globe, we have gathered over 400 elite business and government participants from 36 countries to this forum. We have dozens of executives from global Fortune 500 companies, 20 individuals from Time's list of the 100 most influential people. We have world leaders, athletes, and people who are working hard to make the world a better place. I'd like to recognize and thank all of our hosts and my colleagues here today from our parent company, Time Warner. First, the journalists. Andy Serwer, editor of Fortune, Rick Stingle, editor of Time, and something of an honorary South African himself, Rick Stingle, and Terry McDonald, editor of the Sports Illustrated Group. From CNN, we have several journalists, but also Jim Walton, president of CNN Worldwide. On the executive side of the house, we are pleased to have on hand Ann Moore, the chairman and CEO of Time Incorporated, John Martin, chief financial officer and executive vice president of Time Warner, and Mark Ford, president of Time Incorporated's News and Sports Group. We will focus on many topics this weekend, from climate change to growth in untapped markets to the relationship between China and Africa, just to name a few. Most important, we will all get to know one another better, learn from one another, and establish relationships that will help us move forward when we head back to Joburg, Shanghai, New York, London, or wherever you're headed. And now, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our very special guest via satellite from the G8 and G20 in Canada, South African President Jacob Zuma. Mr. Zuma's life story is a personification of Africa's potential. Born in the dirt-poor Zulu heartland in the east of the country during the years of apartheid, Mr. Zuma taught himself to read and write while herding his family's goats, and taught himself rebellion from the stories he heard of the Zulu Bambata uprising of the early 20th century. He joined the African National Congress at 17, spent 10 years in jail on Robben Island with Nelson Mandela during the 60s and 70s, a time when he became famous inside the prison as a robust central defender and captain of the Rangers football team. And after going into exile and leaving jail, rose through the ranks to eventually become the ANC's head of intelligence. After apartheid, Mr. Zuma became known as a skilled mediator, helping forge peace between the ANC and Zulu Inkatha Freedom Party in South Africa, and between rebels and the government in Burundi. After serving as deputy president of both South Africa and the ANC, Mr. Zuma became president of the ANC in 2007 and Free South Africa's fourth president a little over a year ago. In office, he has won wide praise for his transparency and pragmatism, acknowledging the challenges that face the country, such as crime, HIV, AIDS, and inequality, and setting his government tough targets on all of them, including a 7 to 10% cut in violent crime every year, a reduction in new HIV infections of 50% by the end of the year, and creating 4 million jobs and achieving 100% enrollment in primary education by the end of his term in 2014. Mr. President, it is an ironic illustration of Africa's growing global presence that we came all the way to Africa only to find that you are in North America on far more important business. But thanks to a helping hand from our colleagues at CNN who provided this satellite link, it is nonetheless a great privilege to be able to introduce you to the extraordinary audience now gathered in this beautiful city for the first Fortune Time CNN Global Forum, being held in what is proving to be a momentous year for South Africa and the whole continent. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, the President of South Africa, Jacob Zuma.
Thank you, John Huey, for your words of introduction. Esteemed participants, ladies and gentlemen, good day to you all and welcome to South Africa. I would have loved to join you in person for this important forum, but I had to be in Canada for the G8 outreach and the G20 summit. We extend our greetings to the more than 350 leaders from 34 countries who are assembled in Cape Town, the CEOs of the world's largest multinational companies, and leaders from diverse fields. Greetings also to the Time 100 list of the world's most influential people. Thanks to the advancement of technology, we are able to speak across oceans and bring together two important forums deliberating on very similar matters. Both are gatherings of leaders from across the world. Both are looking at the challenges and opportunities that confront our globe today. You are in our country during an exciting period, right in the middle of the 2010 FIFA World Cup, the largest sporting event in the world, and the first to be staged on African soil. We are proud to host the world during this momentous event, just as we are proud and honored to be the host partner of this forum through the Department of Trade and Industry. We are pleased that following previous events in India and China, organizers have this year partnered with South Africa in hosting this event for the first time in Africa. Since 1995, the Global Forum has convened the drivers of economic destiny. The value of this forum is that it brings together thought leaders from government, science, business, sports, media, entertainment, and the non-government sector to focus on the most pertinent issues facing the global economy. We welcome the fact that a decision was taken to combine the Global Forum this year with our government's African Dialogue Conference. The conference serves as a key platform to drive engagement around critical economic issues on the continent and to connect decision makers. Ladies and gentlemen, while the Global Forum dialogue has always delivered value, it has gained urgency in recent years. We all know that the limitations of the international system took us to one of the worst global economic crises. The global economy is finally showing signs of recovery. Yet, the stimulus packages that governments used to avert economic meltdown are now contributing to the concerns about unsustainable public debt. This is one of the major issues that leaders will be discussing here at the G20 summit. They will also be discussing the measures that need to be taken to sustain the recovery and the reforms required to ensure that such a crisis does not occur again. We will at the G20 from tomorrow, the 26th to the 27th, make our voice heard on a number of issues that we feel strongly about. These include the forum, the reform of the international financial system. We will continue to call for the opening of markets. We will underline the urgency of considering the voice of the developing world in the development and implementation of new financial standards and rules. This would include a third chair for Africa in the IMF to enable more say in global governance and policy and access to resources. We are not here in Canada, cap in hand, to ask for some of these things. Africa offers a market of close to 1 billion people, with 20 million in Southern Africa alone. Africa has in recent years seen significant sustained growth. Sub-Saharan Africa is the third fastest growing region in the world after China and India. This is largely due to sustained demand for commodities, sound economic policies, and improved political conditions. These, together with opportunities in infrastructure, transport, communications, energy, and demand for consumer goods present the continent as the next frontier of economic growth. We therefore seek equal partnerships for meaningful growth and development at forums such as the G20 and G8. At the G8 outreach yesterday, we were able to deal with issues such as tackling child and maternal health in the continent, peace and security, as well as the scourge of the international drug trade, amongst others. Of course, time was insufficient for us to raise all the critical matters that should help us all to create a better Africa and a better world. Ladies and gentlemen, as said earlier, this forum meets in South Africa during an exciting period because of the Soccer World Cup. The excitement goes beyond football. The World Cup is proving that faith in Africa was not misplaced. The overwhelming success is enabling us to challenge misconceptions and stereotypes about the continent, which augurs well for the future. Economically, we invested in infrastructure which will provide long-lasting benefits to the economy. Through the renewal of our transport and roads networks, we have addressed long-standing bottlenecks. Through intensive marketing, we expect a much larger and permanent volume of tourism traffic through the country in coming decades. A number of reports in the international media have already painted a very positive picture of South Africa. We plan to make our mark as a place of world-class infrastructure and amenities, a fantastic tourist destination, and a land of unique cultural diversity and warmth. All these benefits will last a very long time. Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, the slogan of this World Cup is Kinako, meaning now is the time. The Global Forum, starting today, presents a convergence of the right time, the right place, the right continent, and at the right persons. Let us use this combination to debate the issues and unlock the new global opportunity for growth and the development. I must also urge you to make time to enjoy some soccer and also to explore our beautiful country. There is no need to rush back home after the conference. Stay on and enjoy our warm African hospitality. It is my pleasure to declare the Global Forum officially opened, and I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Senior Editor-at-Large, Fortune Magazine, Jeff Colvin.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. And thank you, Mr. President, for so eloquently setting the context for our conference.